Deputy, let me know when you all are ready.
Good morning, Your Honor. We're ready.
Okay. All right. All right. If everyone can hear me. And Deputy, before we get started, I don't see her on, but just a confirmation, we did not have any need for the interpreter this morning.
Negative, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is 11 o'clock this morning here on September 28th of 2024. And this is your first appearance here. My name is Judge Marcus Thorpe, and I'm one of the associate magistrate judges here in Clayton County. Just a couple of things, gentlemen, that I'm going to go over with you all here this morning as we go through this process. And so if you cannot hear me as I move through everything, please let me know, as it is very important that you get everything that's going to happen. First, ladies and gentlemen, I am not here to try your case, take a plea, or have any legal discussion with you about the specific facts of your case. The purpose of today's first appearance hearing is to inform you of the charges against you and to advise you of certain rights, set bond on those offenses for which the court is authorized to set bond, to schedule a preliminary hearing, to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney, to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. Now, as I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen, each of you has the right to remain silent. Please do not attempt to tell me the specific facts about your case or any legal defense that you may have. As I said earlier, we are streaming live here and this hearing is being recorded. So anything you say during this proceeding can and will be used against you in later proceedings. In addition to the right to remain silent, you have the right to a presumption of innocence, the right to indictment by a grand jury for felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf, to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you. You have the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense. And you have the right to have an attorney represent you if you cannot afford one. Now, as I said, I'm going to talk to you all each, ladies and gentlemen, about what you have been charged with. In addition to that, I'm going to talk to you about your bond, which is something that you would pay that would allow you to be released while your case is pending. There are three different ways that you can post bond. You can post bond by cash, commercial, or property, and we're going to go through each. Now, if you choose to post your bond in cash, that would mean that you would need to bring that you or someone you know would need to bring down to the sheriff's office the amount that you owe in bond, and then they would give that to the sheriff's office along with any fees that are required by the sheriff's office. And then once your case is closed, at that time, that money will be returned to you. So the example I like to use, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you are charged with, for example, a family violence battery, and I tell you that your bond amount is $6,000, then you or someone you know would need to be able to bring $6,000 plus any necessary fees down to the clerk's office, down to the sheriff's office, where that information will be considered, and at that time, you'd be released. The second way that you can make bond would be through a commercial bonding company. And that's typically where you would not have the full amount in bond. And at that time, you would bring either 10 to 15%, usually 15% of the bond. You give that to a bonding company, and they will assist you in getting out on bond. Now, the difference is, again, you're not paying the full amount, and the money that you pay to a bonding company, you don't get that money back. And so again, my example with the family violence battery, if your bond is $6,000, you would pay roughly about $750 to the bonding company. But again, as I said, you would not get that money back from them. Then the final way that you can make bond will be through a property bond. When you use a property bond, ladies and gentlemen, that means that either you or someone you know has a piece of property that they have a deed to, that they'd be willing to put up for your bond, meaning they bring the deed down to the sheriff's office where the sheriff would hold on to it until such time as your case is closed, and then the deed will be returned to them. Now, in addition to the ways to make bond, there are some of you, ladies and gentlemen, that I will tell you that you have special conditions attached to your bond as well. I'm going to tell you things such as you were to have no contact with someone. That means If I tell you that you have a no contact provision on your bond, you are to stay away and have no contact with the alleged victim in your case. That means you cannot call them, text them, email, write a letter to, or contact through any social media platform. You can't even do something as nice as write them a song. Now, there will be some of you that I tell you that you are not allowed to return to a particular location. That means you can't go back there for any reason. If I tell you not to go back to somewhere that you were living prior to the alleged incident happened, please understand, ladies and gentlemen, that you are only allowed to go back after you're released on bond by making an appointment with the sheriff's office. If you fail to abide by my bonding conditions, means that you have contact with the person I told you not to, or you go somewhere I told you not to, you are subjecting yourself, ladies and gentlemen, to an additional felony, a revocation of your bond, up to $10,000 in fine, and an additional felony sentence of up to 20 years. Now, there are some of you, ladies and gentlemen, that I may not be able to consider your bond this morning, either because of what you are charged with or because you are on active probation. If that is the case, I will tell you that you will be in a no bond status, and I'll give you what your next court dates will be. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you all who expect to have somebody attempt to bond you out, please remember that if it is the alleged victim that you are trying to get in touch with to have them bond you out, they are not allowed to by law, so you would need to find someone else. Now, lastly, before we get started, I want to talk to you all just briefly about a preliminary hearing. For those of you all who are charged with felonies this morning, you are automatically given a right to a preliminary hearing if you don't make bond. For those of you all who are charged with misdemeanors, you have a right to that hearing, or you can choose not to have it. A preliminary hearing is not your trial. However, it is where you are present, the judge is present, your lawyer is present as well, and they are there to go over the charges that have been filed against you and determine whether there is enough evidence to go forward against you. If they determine that there is not, it may mean that your case is dismissed right there. It could be brought back later if they choose to, but it's dismissed. Now, if you're charged with that misdemeanor and you want to have that hearing, you can. If you tell me, Judge, I don't want to have that hearing, it can speed up the process for your case to get resolved. And then again, like I said, you'll want to let me know that this morning. So again, for those of you all charged with misdemeanors, I will ask you if you want that preliminary hearing or not, and then you'll simply need to let me know. And then from there, I'll have some instructions for you moving forward as to how your case will proceed this morning and from here on. So now, ladies and gentlemen, if I would, we're going to go ahead and we're going to swear in everybody. If I could have everyone please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information that you've given this morning here on your appointment of counsel form, as well as what you will provide to me in person, if you swear that that will be the truth and nothing but the truth to help you God, I need each of you to say, I do. All right, Deputy. I think I see both ladies up here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to log into Jots. Deputy, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, give me one moment. All right, so the only male I see on Jots is Isis Walker. If I can have Mr. Walker. Walker? Are you Miss Walker?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Walker, you're charged with 1 count of simple assault, family violence, ma'am. That is a misdemeanor. So the first question I have for you, as I just spoke about, you have a right to a preliminary hearing, ma'am, or you can waive that hearing. Which would you like to do? Would you like to have that hearing or waive it?
Sorry, are you sure that's me? You said family assault.
I'm sorry. My apologies, Ms. Walker. Computer's acting up. You have driving offenses. I apologize. Thank you for catching that. You have 1 count of driving with suspended license, 1 count of operating with no insurance, 1 count of obscuring a license plate. You have 1 count of driving with no registration and 1 count of window tint. So I apologize, ma'am. Yours are all misdemeanor traffic violations. Based on that information, Ms. Walker, I did review some information about you this morning. So I am going to go ahead and release you this morning, pending your prosecution of your case. Now, let me be clear, Ms. Walker, that does not mean that your case is over. It just means that you're going to be released here today. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Now, because of the information you provided, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer this morning. So you will have a lawyer free of charge to assist you on your case as well, okay? Can you hear me, Ms. Walker?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so the only thing I actually need from you at this point, Ms. Walker, is once I excuse you, you are gonna step there to your right. The deputy is gonna have a piece of paper for you to sign showing that you are gonna be released and you're waiving your right to that preliminary hearing. And once you sign that piece of paper, ma'am, you should be released later today, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Good luck to you. And I think the other individual was the one that was continued from yesterday, is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and it's is it Jakivia Vincent Giovanni, is that correct, ma'am?
Giovanni.
Giovanni, excuse me. And I see just with the information I have, man, you are not working right now, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, when was the last time you held a job, man?
Back in around March,
Say that one more time.
back in like July,
Okay. Were you in school full-time?
yes,
Okay. Are you currently still enrolled, or because I understand here that it says that you were not supposed to be on that property, and I'm not asking you to comment, so you don't have to say anything. But as you know of, are you still enrolled in school?
as of now, no,
Okay. Where were you going to school before?
Clayton State University.
Okay. Is it your intention to enroll back in school? Have you started that process?
It is my intention, yes,
Okay, but you have not as of yet started, is that right?
correct.
Okay, gotcha. All right, ma'am. So let me just tell you here what you were charged with. You're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, 1 count of possession of a weapon on school property. The possession of a weapon on school property, ma'am, is a felony. Your bond amount on the criminal trespass is $2,500. Your bond amount on the felony possession of a weapon on school property carries a bond of $3,500. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Now, because you are charged with a felony, if you don't make your bond, you are going to get a new court date. So your next court date is going to be October 28th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Again, that's October 28th at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Now, ma'am, you do have special conditions on your bond as well, so let me tell you that also. Your special conditions will include that you are not at this point to return to that property there on Clayton State. So I put that on your bond paperwork. And so the only way that you would allow to be able to return there is either A, when your case is closed, or B, if this is modified in some way. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you have any questions for me, ma'am?
No,
All right, then. Good luck to you.
thank you.
All right. So, Deputy, moving back on to dots, I have Jeremy Garth, Anthony Worley, Wembley, and Woody. Should be Garth, Worley, Wembley, and Woody.
Coming up, Your Honor.
What's that guard? Right there.
Who's guarding? You guarding?
Are you Mr. Garth?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Garth. If you could hear me earlier, my name is Judge Thorpe. I'm going to go through here some information here, advise you of what you've been charged with, and then see if you have any questions for me as we go through this, okay?
Sure.
All right, so Mr. Garth here, you are charged with 1 count of simple assault, family violence. That is a misdemeanor, sir. So you have first the right to a preliminary hearing, or you can waive that preliminary hearing, sir. Which would you like to do, have it or waive it?
I would like to have it. I'm gonna have to get a lawyer as well.
Okay, no, and we're going to get to that. So
Sure.
first thing, as it relates to that preliminary hearing, sir, if you don't make your bond, your next court date is going to be October 29th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Again, as I said, that's going to be October 29th, 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Now, as it relates to a lawyer, sir, I've reviewed the information that you provided here this morning. You do qualify for a court-appointed lawyer. That means one will be given to you free of charge, okay?
Sir.
Now, as to your bond amount, sir, this carries a bond of $2,500. You do have stay away provisions on your case as well. That means you are to stay away from 213 Hanover Place at apartment 213. and you are to stay away from the alleged victim in this case as well. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, if that was somewhere you were living, sir, let me say, as I said earlier, you are permitted to return there if you make bond, but only if you make an appointment with the sheriff's office. Do you understand that?
And that would be, as soon as the bond is made?
Yes. So let's say you were to make that bond today.
Yes, sir.
And as soon as you are released, you just make sure that you speak with someone from the sheriff's office, and they will help you with getting that appointment made. As long as you do so within 10 days of your release, they will assist you in going over there to get your items out of there that are not in dispute. Now, it can't be everything, but anything that belongs to you and you alone, they will assist you in getting it off of the property while your case is pending, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir, do you have any questions for me?
You say, after the bond is paid, October 28th will be the,
Well, no. If you don't make the bond, you get your preliminary hearing. If you make your bond now, then it's automatically waived. Okay, so that prelim comes only if you're still sitting there. If you make it, you waive it, and you and your lawyer will get together and you'll discuss when your next court date is gonna be, okay?
yes, sir.
All right, sir, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Next up should be Mr. Anthony Worley,
Worley.
Chorley. Mr. Worley, I've got Worley should be Wembley and Woody.
First name. Wembley. Yep.
All right, so you're Mr. Anthony Worley, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, so Mr. Worley here, as I said earlier, this is your first appearance. You're charged with 1 count of public drunk, sir. I've reviewed the information that we have here on your case, sir. I am gonna go ahead and release you this morning. That does not mean that your case is over, sir. It just means that I'm letting you go and you don't have to sit in jail until your next court date, okay?
Amen. Yes, sir.
All right, sir. So if you would, just for me, step to the right there. The officer's gonna have a piece of paper to sign for you. Once you sign that piece of paper, you'll be released later today. Good luck to you. Thank you. All right, next up should be Mr. Wembley and then Woody. We'll be on off top. Are you Mr. Wembley?
Yeah.
Mr. Wembley, you are charged here with 1 count of felony fleeing, 1 count of reckless driving, 1 count of possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, 1 count of possession of a dangerous weapon, and of obstruction of an officer. Now, the possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, I have dismissed that charge, sir, but the others do remain. Now, because some of these are felonies, if you don't make the bond that I'm going to give you here shortly, you're going to have your next court date will be October 28th at 8:30 a.m. and that will be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
I do. Yes, sir.
You good?
So again, that'll be October 28th, 8:30 a.m. and that's via Zoom. Now, as it relates to your bond here, we're going to go through each of the charges. The felony fleeing, that carries a bond amount of $5,000. The reckless driving, $2,500. The possession of a dangerous weapon, $10,000. And the obstruction of an officer, $2,500. Your total bond, sir, is going to be $20,000. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Now, based on the information that you provided here this morning to me, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer, sir. So you will have a lawyer free of charge to assist you on your case, okay?
Okay.
All right, sir. Do you have any questions for me about anything?
My bond is 20,000.
Yes, sir.
That
20,000.
one though. Okay, cool.
All right. Any other questions I can answer for you?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right, sir. Good luck to you.
Okay, yes, sir.
And I believe you're Mr. Woody. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Yes, sir. Okay. So, Mr. Woody, give me 1 second here. Let me just get to you. All right, so Mr. Woody, you are charged with 1 count of driving without headlights, 1 count of driving with a suspended license, sir. Those are misdemeanor charges. So that means you have a right to a preliminary hearing, or you have a right to waive that preliminary hearing. Would you like to have that hearing or waive that hearing?
I waive it.
All right, so I'm going to show that you are waiving your preliminary hearing here this morning. The next thing I want to do is just go through here with the bond amounts for you. For suspended license, it carries a bond amount of $1,500. for the traffic violation, the window tint there, excuse me, the headlights, there's a bond amount of $500. And so your total bond, sir, is going to be $2,000. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. I've reviewed the information that you gave us this morning as it relates to appointment of a court-appointed attorney. You do not qualify for court-appointed attorney. And so what that means is if you would like one to assist you on your case, sir, you will have to hire your own. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Do you have any questions of me about anything?
No, sir.
All right, then that's all I have for you, sir. Good luck. All right, sir. All right, Deputy, that should be everyone on dock. So just going in alphabetical order, I have first up, I believe is Jason Brundage, Brundage.
Okay. I know. Coming up, man.
And should be Bundridge, Daniels, and Jenkins. Are you Mr. Bundridge? All right, so Mr. Bundridge, you are charged with two counts of violation of a Georgia Controlled Substances Act, 1 count of open container, 1 count of possession of a drug-related object. Let me say, sir, there is some information that was missing here when the officer provided the warrant against you. So at this point, sir, I'm advising you that you're going to be released today because your case is being dismissed. But I need you to understand what that means. It means I am the judge in dismissing it, but I'm doing so because there's information that they did not put in your warrant. I tell you that because they could ultimately come back and make those corrections. Do you understand that? Do you understand, sir?
I do.
All right, but as of today, you will be released. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, next up should be Mr. Daniels.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Daniels. You are charged here with 1 count of open container, 1 count of seatbelt violation, and 1 count of felony possession of a controlled substance. Now, because you are charged with a felony, sir, that means that you will get a preliminary hearing if you don't make your bond, okay?
Yes, sir.
That preliminary hearing date will be October 28th at 8:30 a.m. and that will be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Now, I see here that you are not working. Is that correct?
Not currently, no, sir. I just applied for a job. Not currently, no.
Okay, so I am going to go ahead and I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer, Mr. Daniels. So you will have a lawyer free of charge to assist you on your case. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yes, sir. The only other thing I need to tell you is your bond amount. Your bond amount as it relates to the open container is $500, to the seatbelt violation is $500, and then lastly to the felony drugs, $3,500, for a total bond amount of $4,500. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
All right, sir. Any questions I can answer for you?
The total amount was $4,500.
$4,500.
Thank you, Your
Yes,
Honor.
sir. All right. Good luck to you. All right, after Mr. Jenkins should be, I have Morgan, Morris, and Mullinex. Morgan, Morris, and Mullinex after Jenkins.
Jenkins first.
Yep. Jenkins should be Jenkins first, Morgan, Morris, and Mullinex. Are you Mr. Jenkins?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jenkins, you are charged with 1 count of misdemeanor obstruction, 1 count of window tint. Those are both misdemeanors, sir. Because they are misdemeanors, you have a right to that preliminary hearing I spoke of earlier, or, sir, you can waive that preliminary hearing. Which would you like to do? Have it or waive it?
Have it.
I'm sorry? Okay. And so if you don't make your bond, sir, your next court date is going to be October 29th at 8:30 a.m. That'll be via Zoom. Again, that will be October 29th at 8:30 a.m. and that will be via Zoom. Do you understand that? Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, looking at the information you provided to us this morning, I am going to go ahead. I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer, so you will have a lawyer free of charge to assist you in your case. Okay, Mr. Jenkins?
Yes, sir.
And then
Yes.
lastly, as to your bond, the obstruction carries a bond of $2,500, the window tint $500, so your total bond amount is $3,000, okay?
3,000.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Right, so are you, is it Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
So, Mr. Morgan, you were charged here with 2 counts, 1 count of possession of cocaine, 1 count of possession of heroin, 1 count of drug-related objects, and 1 count of open container. Now, I'm gonna tell you, sir, I think you were in the vehicle with the other gentleman that we had here earlier, Bundridge. I'm gonna tell you that I am going to dismiss these charges this morning. I have reviewed the information that was provided to me, and it was lacking in some necessary information that I needed to make a determination of whether or not there was probable cause. Now, I want to be clear, sir, that that does not mean that your case may never come back. It may at some point return. The officer may make the corrections. But as of today, sir, based on what I have here today, your case is dismissed and you will be released later today. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up should be Morris, Mullenix, and Pike. Are you Mr. Morris?
Sir.
Mr. Morris, you are charged with 1 count of felony fleeing, 1 count of improper use of a turn lane, speeding, and reckless driving. Because, sir, one of those are felonies, that means your next court date, if you don't make the bond that we're going to go over here shortly, your next court date will be October 28th. It will be at 8:30 a.m., and that will be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Again, that's October 28th, 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Now, as it relates to your bond, sir, the fleeing carries a bond amount of $3,500, the turn lane violation $500, the speeding $2,500, reckless driving $2,000, and so your total bond, sir, is $8,500. Again, that's $8,500, Mr. Morris. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I got
Yeah.
one question. I was gonna see, like, is it a percentage like I can pay?
Yeah, so if you wanted to use a bonding company, sir, you would speak with them, but typically it'd be about 15%. And so you would be looking at about $1,000 to get out, okay? All right, sir. And I have appointed you a court-appointed lawyer based on the information I have. So you will have, whether you make bond or not, a lawyer to help you, okay? All right, good luck to you, sir. Are you Mr. Mullenix?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Mullenix, you are charged with 1 count of reckless driving, 1 count of possession of a drug-related object, sir. These are both misdemeanors, which means you have a right to a preliminary hearing, sir, or you can waive that right. Which would you like to do, sir? Would you like to have that preliminary hearing, or would you like to waive that preliminary hearing?
I'll let that happen, sir.
All right, sir. So I'm going to show that you would like to have that hearing here this morning. And so the next court date, so you understand what that means, that next court date will be October 29th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. And that is only if you don't make your bond, okay? Again, that's October 29th, 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Now, as to your bond amount, excuse me, I didn't go through the rest of your charges because you do have 2 more. You also had a disorderly conduct. Let me change something here. I'm sorry, sir. Let's go through your charges one more time here. They had it on separate papers. So you have 1 count of reckless driving, 1 count of possession of a drug-related object, 1 count of obstruction, 1 count of disorderly conduct, and 1 count I have here of possession of marijuana. So those are all misdemeanors. So we're still going to go ahead. We're going to set that court date for you if you don't make your bond. That'll be October 29th, 8:30 a.m., and that'll be via Zoom. So that doesn't change for you. I just wanted to make sure that you knew about all of the other charges, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, to go through your bond amount here for you, and then we're going to do it for all charges. That's going to be reckless driving carries a bond of $2,000. The misdemeanor drug-related objects, $1,000. The obstruction, $2,500, disorderly conduct, $1,500, and the misdemeanor marijuana carries a bond of $2,500. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, that means for a total bond, that's going to give you 6, 8, 9, $10,500 as a total bond. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. And what
All right.
percentage on that for the 15?
On $10,500, you'd be looking at roughly about $1,150.
1150?
Yes, sir. So if you use a bond, and that's if you use a bonding company, 11. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. I've appointed you a court-appointed lawyer here this morning as well. Do you have any questions for me about anything?
No, sir, I don't.
All right, sir. Then that's all I have for you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. And are you Mr. Pike?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Pike, you are charged with 1 count of theft by shoplifting as a misdemeanor. Your bond amount, sir, is $3,500. This is a misdemeanor, so you have that right to that preliminary hearing that I spoke of, or you can waive that right. Which would you like to do? Would you like to have your hearing or waive it?
I would like to have it.
All right, sir. So if you don't make bond, your next court date is going to be October 29th, and it's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that will be via Zoom. Again, that's October 29th, 8:30 a.m., and that will be via Zoom, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. That's all I have for you this morning. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then I believe the last one we should have is Mr. Willis. Are you Mr. Willis?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. So, Mr. Willis, you are charged here with 1 count of felony theft by taking. That is a felony, as I said. So your next court date, sir, will be October 28th at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom, should you not make your bond. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, based on the information you provided to me this morning, I have gone ahead and appointed you a court-appointed lawyer as well. And so you will have a lawyer free of charge to assist you in your case, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Willis, do you have any questions of me?
Is it a bond on it?
Say that one more time.
Is it a bond amount?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I told you that if I didn't, but I apologize. Your bond amount on that is $5,000.
Thank you, sir.
All right, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, deputy, that should be everyone. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That's it.